What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming back to my channel. Story time. Um, I'm going to tell you about the first time I ever went to a bathhouse. Okay. All right, so I had this clique of friends while I was living in Detroit, and they wanted to go to Caribana, which is the Caribbean festival in Toronto. And I was really excited. I spent a lot of time in London, Ontario, Waterloo, but I had never been to Toronto. So we planned our trip. It was six of us who were going, and my friend Ben bought a book at a sex shop called a Damn Rhyme book, and I had been out a while, but I hadn't been like out in the life and the culture too much. And I didn't know what a damn rhyme book was. Well, a damn rhyme book will tell you all of the gay attractions or anything, gay hotspots, bathhouses, sex shops, um, anything. It'll tell you in the damn rhyme book. And so they all were like, look, whenever we travel, we're going to have a good time. We're going to make some memories. And we're always having to talk about and kiki. So I was like, okay, well, what are we going to do? They said, well, yes, we're going for Caribana, but we're also going to a bathhouse while we're there. And I was like, okay, I've heard of a bathhouse, but I had never experienced one before. And was a little bit nervous because it's my first time going out with the guys, and I didn't want to punk out or anything like that, but it was kind of like a shock to me that we were all going as a group. It's normally something you do. What I thought is something that you did privately. So there's a place in Toronto. I don't know if it's still there. It should be because it was awesome. But there's a place in Toronto called 504 or Club 504. Um, very, very, very immaculately clean. Um, but let me back up a little bit. So I went online and tried to discover anything I could about 504 and about what happens in a bad house. And so I read that there are these unspoken codes because there's not a lot of speaking going on inside of a bathhouse. So there are these codes. So if someone is so that there's little rooms, like you rent these rooms inside the bathhouse to go and have your adventures. And so the codes are, if someone if you look into one of these little rooms, I mean they're small, like the size of a twin bed with maybe a little bit of space next to it, or a cot, like they're very small. Um, but so if you look into one of these rooms, if a gentleman is sitting up with a towel over his lap, he wants to receive brain. If he's sitting up with a towel on his lap, so off he wants to receive brain, on his lap he wants to give brain. If he's laying down on his stomach, he wants to bottom. If he's laying on his back, towel off, he wants to top. And I was like, wow, this is this is blowing my mind. Like, we're really gonna do this. Now I cannot tell my friends that I am nervous about this because They were all very like, this is run of the mill for them. This is a new group of friends for me, but they all seemed like they were, like this is what we do, let's get it, let's have some fun. So we drive to Toronto from Detroit, which is about right around three and a half, almost 4 hour drive. Traffic is crazy because everybody is trying to get to Toronto for Caribana. And we check into our rooms. And then that night, our first night there, we're going to this place, it's 504. And I'm like psyching myself up for whatever this is going to be because I've never been in a place like this before. So when we get there, I mean, we got to Toronto. We went and met up with some friends. We ate dinner. We went to a couple of sex shops and just like looked around and stuff. And by the time that we got to 504, it was probably around 1:30. All the rooms had been rented, which I mean, now that I think about it, of course, all the rooms are rented. It's like a Friday evening, but there weren't any rooms, but we could have lockers for all of our stuff. And you can take this locker and put in all your clothes, your wallet, your everything, and you get a towel to wear around your waist as I mean, you don't have to have on anything, but if you want a towel, you can wear a towel as you're going through this place. Now, we had us a little powwow at the front door before we went in. It's like, hey, what happens in Toronto is up to everybody. You don't have to do anything, but we all about to do something. So it was understood you better come out of there with a story. And so I was really excited now because I didn't kind of hype myself up and I read all these rules and learned all these signs and I know what I'm supposed to expect. Well, as far as bathhouses go, this one was well maintained. I mean, there's condoms everywhere for everybody. There's free lube. There's these open showers that are all glass. So as you're walking through the hallways, you can watch the men in the shower. And, you know, I told everybody, I said, look, we're not about to walk through here as a group, but we can definitely break up and we'll all like come back together at 3 a.m. So I was like, let's go. I was ready to get into this and, no fear. So there's a staircase that I noticed in the back. So I said, well, I'm going to go upstairs. I'll see y'all all at 3. So I go up this staircase and it goes 1, 2, 3. And then the fourth floor is an open terrace with some beach chairs and stuff like that. And mind you, all I'm wearing is a towel. Not a big towel, but a towel. And I'm just up there. Sometimes before you're about to do something crazy, you have to give yourself a small little pep talk just to say, hey, you're going to do this. You're going to get through it. It ain't going to take you but a jump. You just got to jump. Just do it. And so while I'm sitting up here on this beach chair, there's these two guys that come sit on the chair next to me. One's like laying, another guy's sitting on the end of it, and they're talking, and I'm kind of just like gazing up the moon. Hi, hey, how y'all doing? And it was a beautiful night. I was like, yes, it is. And I just left it at that, didn't say any more to him. And then a guy comes and sits at the beach chair. It's the long, the sunning kind of beach chair, and he sits across from me. And I'm not paying anybody any attention yet because I'm still just trying to, get myself ready for whatever I'm about to do. I don't know what it's going to be like. but I'm not nervous. I'm just anxious. Okay. And so I probably sat up there for about 5 or 10 minutes while I gathered myself and my guts to just go in here and do whatever I need to do. While I'm sitting there, the two gentlemen over here just straight up start banging like I'm not even present. And I'm a voyeur, so I kind of turn my head and I'm like, oh, 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 it's this is happening. It is time. Okay, it's time. There's no more games, right? I can reach and touch this guy's butt as it's going up and like it is happening. While the guy who came and sat across from me, he likes the scene and he comes over. And now it's a three-way, and I'm sitting here staring at it rock hard now because this is hot and I'm like right here next to it, like less than an arm's reach away. I'm like, okay, that's what I needed. Let's go. So I go down to the third, go back to the stairs, go to the third floor, and I walk around and look in all the rooms. And a lot of the doors are closed because, I mean, people are using their rooms. But there's a lot of attractive guys walking through the hallways and looking back at me, and I'm looking back at them. But, they don't have a room, I don't have a room, so it's like, whatever. And I go down to the second floor. The second floor has some open doors. And one of the open doors I look into, this guy is laying on his stomach with no towel on his ass. And I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm a top. So I'm like, well, action. So I go in here, and in every room, there's lube, there's condoms, there's towels. It's like so clean. And they come through, and I'm watching the little cart come through. They're coming through, and they're cleaning the rooms like every, I don't know if it's 30, 40 minutes or whatever, but they're coming through and cleaning up and switching out sheets and everything, refilling lube, refilling condoms. This place was run like a well-oiled machine. So I go in there, and I didn't really know what the code of conduct was. I knew the rules for what was going on, but I didn't know if there was like a space for rejection if you don't want me. Is this free for all where everybody knows what's up and we're all here to do it? I didn't know what was going on. So a guy had on a baseball cap, and he looked back when I came in the room, and he arched his back. I was like, okay, this is it. So I grabbed the treats there on the little table, did my thing, and while I'm doing it, I'm just thinking, this is the craziest shit I've ever done. What is going on? This is for real. This is really happening. I'm really doing this. I'm really in this stranger, this Canadian person, And so I stayed in there for maybe 30 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, because we had a couple sessions and whatnot. And so I was ready to go and see what else was happening out there. And some of these doors are open, but it's already two people, and I'm in there, they're just letting you watch. So a couple doors I would just go to and just stand there and watch and kind of just imagine, like, how often do these guys come here and how normal is this for them? So I want to take a shower. So I go down to the second. I'm sorry, I'm already on the second floor, and I go to where the glass shower that I mentioned before is at. I think there was one on first and second floor, but I go to the glass shower. mind you, I'm passing my friends in the hallway. We're not speaking. We're just nodding to each other, and we're just ship sailing in the night, going past each other. So I go to the shower because you want to be clean. So I took a shower, and this really handsome guy. He looked kind of like, I would say between Middle Eastern and Italian, very dark olive skin. He comes in. He stands right next to us. There's got to be 10 showers that are available. He comes over and stands right next to me in the shower. And I'm like, when in Rome, so I reach over and okay, but I'm sharing this. So I reach down and say hello with my hand. You know what I'm saying? I reach down and say hello with my hand for a little while. I'm like, I could get used to this little moment. You know, like what's going on in here is just it's coitus, it's animal, it's man. It's just like everything that, the darkness brings is all throughout in here. So after I take my shower, my handshake lasted a little while with this gentleman, and I grabbed my towel off the wall, and I look back, and he smiles, and I, you know, wave or whatever I did, I can't remember. But I walk out of the shower and go into an area of the second floor that I hadn't been in, and there's this room that all these guys are standing in, and they're off looking in one corner of the room. I'm like, what's going on in here? My roommate is banging this guy that's hanging in a swing, and there's got to be at least 15 people, maybe more, but at least 15 people who are watching my roommate. This guy is he. I know this is YouTube. I don't know what I can get in trouble for. So just use your imagination. My roommate is not in the swing. He is using this gentleman in the swing. I'm like, okay, okay, all right. So I don't think I can do that, but I'm gonna go and walk around a little bit. And one of my friends runs into me. He says, "Hey, come here." I was like, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "How's it going?" I was like, "Oh, it's going." He's like, have you been in any rooms?" I said, "Yeah, I've been in a couple spots." He's like, "Oh, well, I met a couple people. I met a Mark. I met a Gary." I'm like, "Oh, you talking? You in here getting names? Like, what have you done?" He's like, "Oh, I haven't really done anything. I just been walking around." So I'm not shaming him or anything, but I'm like, now I'm feeling like nasty boy, and he in here looking like a church mouse. So we all met back up. The night continued. I enjoyed a few more of the party favors and situations. And 3 o'clock comes, and we all meet up like we said we would down at the lockers. And everybody is high fiving my roommate and just like giving him so many props and just like, tripped out because we can't believe he just did this. I was very shocked that he did that, but hey, que sera. Um, we ended up going out for round 2. When we left this establishment, the sun was up. Our walk of shame was at like 6:30, 7 a.m. We were in there for like 5, 6 hours, having the time of our lives. I will never forget it. And we ended up making that a habit. Well, they already had the habit. It became a habit of mine when I traveled with them wherever we went that we would go find these. Now, I will say this before I go. If you are in Toronto or going to Toronto, 504, it could be 405, but I think it's 504. Um, Immaculate, clean from head to toe, nowhere disgusting, lots of pride, and the sexiest men. Um, the ones we went to in America, not so clean, not so full of party favors, not so nice, but always memorable.